Hey guys, Alex Kozora from SteelersDepot.com. Had my mic muted for a moment there while I kind of got things set up so you wouldn't have to hear me click to get things ready for our live stream. We had last week off because of the bye week. I figured there was really nothing new to look at. So I decided to scrap it last week, but bringing it back this week as we always do, 3 p.m. for a half hour. Depending on how lively this chat is, it might be a little slower today because it is a Friday and we didn't do it last week. And as the losses stack up, I think people get a little bit more frustrated and just want to kind of tune things out and hope for a better day Sunday, which I can totally understand and agree with in a lot of ways. But if you're unfamiliar, if you're just joining the chat, if you're listening to the archive later on today and you want to get involved next week, again every Friday 3 p.m. Eastern time, we're watching the live stream here. If you want to ask about a play that happens in this game, you can. You can ask it through our YouTube live stream. You can subscribe to my channel and be the first to know about the live streams. You can look for them on Steelers Depot. They're posted there. It's the Bloggers and Basements Talking Steelers article, and the link's going to be provided there. It'll be on our Facebook page as well. You can ask there, through Twitter, through YouTube, through the Steelers Depot comment section. However you can find me, please do, and you can ask your question, and I'll answer whatever is on your guys' mind. So if things are slow early, we'll kind of just go through a couple of the big plays of the game, and went through actually a lot this week, especially for the article that went up today on Steelers Depot, talking about some issues. You know, is it Todd Haley? Is it Big Ben? And kind of had a good half-hour video on that. Let me know if there's any issues with the stream. Let me know if there's any issues with the audio. Is it too loud? Is it too soft? I think the last stream I did, my audio was sounded too loud. It sounded off. It sounded kind of over modded. So I apologize for that. I think it's better this time. It sounded better, a lot better. Last couple of videos, I think the software I have keeps doing updates, and you have to keep updating. So maybe that's part of the issue. But please let me know about that if my stream is good enough. I have a little video output low signal from YouTube, but I'm watching the stream now, and it looks like it's moving pretty smooth. Um, but yeah, so hopefully we get some people to join. And if you have a question, please let me know. Let me run the tape through. I'll take the play-by-play away so it's a little easier for you guys to see. But yeah, invite a friend or just ask a question if you want to see a play, or if you just have a question about the Steelers in general, whether it's the past, the present, what's happening right now, whatever's on your mind. I'll be happy to answer. Hang out here for a couple minutes, see if we get some people in. If not, we'll go to a couple of the plays that I want to look at, and just to kind of give us some focus for this live stream. So again, that was a difficult loss against the Ravens. Always are, 21-14. Steelers put themselves in a big hole early. Just couldn't climb out of. Gone through it pretty thoroughly over the week, I think. See if I can bump the quality of this stream down a little bit so it works a little better. I'm seeing some buffering. Let me know if you guys see any buffering on your end. But yeah, if you have a question, definitely feel free to ask whatever's on your mind. Again, we'll get to some particular place here in just a minute. Yeah, I think the stream is running a little choppy right now. Had some of those issues late yesterday. Let me mess with one of my settings. Hey, Chad. Good to have you back, man. I'm just getting the stream set up here, getting some people to join. But if you have a question, please feel free to ask, my man. While I kind of take care of maybe some of the stream issues here, make sure it's not too bad. Turn down the some of the bit rate. So yeah, Chad, if you have a question, please feel free to ask. If you, as a play that you want to see, that you saw live and said, I want to see exactly what went wrong, please feel free to ask, and we'll certainly address it. This is for you guys. I can go through the plays myself, and I will, just to give us something to do. But I definitely like to do this for you guys, so you can see whatever you want to see or ask whatever you want to ask. And I'll be kind of always keeping a real close eye on the YouTube comment section here. And I'm going to check the Facebook page as well. You can ask your questions on Facebook. If we get a question there, I'll certainly answer. All right, Chad, thank you so much for kicking things off with a question. Seeing how the Steelers have done so far to the point in the season, how do you feel they will do for the second half of the season? Well, I mean, the last 3 seasons they've gone 6-2, even in like what was it, 2013, when they had that really horrid start and they went 6-2 to finish 8-8. So that's obviously history does not really mean anything for the future. Um, but I think they can turn things around. I mean, if the defense can get some more splash and the offense can kind of get on pace, we know the potential this team has. And unfortunately, where the term we're using more and more is that potential, and that's not going to win you any games. That's all theoretical. But yeah, do I think they can turn around? Sure, they're healthier now. They have some winnable games coming up. They're going to start getting some December weather, so they might get some stuff that might be a little more friendly to them. So, I mean, I think that sure they can turn it around. Will they? I mean, who knows? We don't have the crystal ball. But yeah, I think they can turn it around, and history says that they're done pretty good coming out of the breaks. So that's the hope. It's going to be hard against Dallas, though. There's no doubt about that. But there's still reason for optimism. It's a 4-4 team. They've been 4-4 in the past. 10-6 will win the division. Will win the AFC North, and 9-7 might even do it too. Uh, so thank you, Chad. Yeah, we'll see how it goes though. It's hard to say. Yeah, let me know if you guys are having a problem with the stream. I think the stream's kind of laggy right now. I'm trying to figure out why. Could I go over the Wallace touchdown? I've heard different opinions whether it was all on Burns, whether it was on Mitchell. Yeah, Dylan, we will get to that. It's both. I mean, it's both. Anyone who says it's just on one guy's lying to you. Doesn't know what they're talking about. But yep, we'll go to that whenever it was. I don't remember when it was. First quarter here. Alright, so let's go with the Wallace touchdown, and again, hopefully the stream is... I've turned my quality settings down the best I can. Hopefully everything is pretty good. Alright, Wallace touchdown. Steelers, they're bringing their Fire X with their linebackers, Timmons and Shazier, but they usually play cover 3 behind, but now they're rolling up instead. It was a little different, kind of more man coverage on the splits, but the bottom here, Wallace on Burns, is going to run a slant to the inside, cross Burns' face. And this is where Burns makes his mistake. Is that Burns' angle is poor. He's playing to the he's playing to should be playing to the upfield shoulder instead he's playing to kind of the inside shoulder. And so if he can't make a play on the football, he has no chance to make the tackle. If you can play to the upfield shoulder, even if you can't make a play on the ball, you come in with your right hand and kind of have your left hand to the upfield shoulder so you can drape over and pull him down if you don't break up the pass. But now because Burns is on the inside shoulder, he has a bad angle to the football. Now that he misses the football, there's no chance he can make the tackle. Now Walls is in space. So that's the start on Burns for taking the poor angle, not playing to the correct shoulder, not being in a position to make the tackle if he can't break up the pass. So let's run this thing through. Hopefully the stream will be solid enough. So that's the first issue, is that Burns took a bad angle. So that's the part that's on him. Now there's going to be the part on Mitchell. Again, it's both. It's not just one player here. So now Mitchell has to clean things up. He's the last line of defense. He's the single high safety. He's got to make the tackle on Wallace. And it's tough. Mike Wallace is fast as almost anybody. But, I mean, there's just no effort there. Wallace is able to shrug him off pretty easily. And they're off to the races. And, he's not going to catch him at this point. So I'll run this playthrough again. So it's on both. Burns took a bad angle. Mitchell didn't clean it up. It is on both of them. It's not just on Burns. He's got to have help behind. It's not just on Mitchell. You can't, one-on-one with the receiver. That's a really tough spot to be in. So that's what happened on the play. And I'll show it from the end zone angle just to show the blitz. But they're bringing 5, so they're going to bring some more pressure. And that's why Butler did say, I'm trying not to blitz as much because I don't want to leave guys isolated. And I get that. And this is a product of that. But I'm still, don't live in your fears. And Butler did, and he kept blitzing. And I gave him credit. You're going to give up some bad plays sometimes. But, if Burns plays that with good technique, it might only be a 12-yard gain. And I live with that when you're trying to bring pressure and get splash plays. Let's see. The all on Burns comment came from behind the shield from Labriola. No, it's not all. I mean, Burns does not help. It's not all on him though. But Mitchell's got to do his job. Mitchell's got to make this tackle. This is a good angle at him. He's got to make that tackle. I mean, he's not even coming from way downfield. I mean, he's right on him. I mean, Mitchell's got to pull down Wallace. That's a little stiff arm that Wallace gives him should not be enough. Wallace is not a stiff armor. He's a runner. And that's on Mitchell. So it's on both. We'll look at it again. Chad, Joey, I'll get to you guys' stuff here in 1 second. Appreciate you guys asking questions. But that's Burns' poor angle. But then Mitchell's got to make this tackle. He's a safety. They make tackles in space. That's his job. He doesn't do it. Gives up touchdown. Chad, before the season started, the expectations were low for the defense. At this point, have they met? And do you feel like they will get better? No, I don't think anyone's going to say they've really. I mean, I know they were low, but it's just a lack of splash. If they were getting some turnovers and some sacks, I'd say the defense is probably about what I expected. But I thought there'd be more sacks. They had 48 sacks last year. They had 17 interceptions last year. I expected a lot better and close to that. Maybe not reaching those goals because those were pretty high bars, but close to that this year. And not even close. You're in historic lows for interceptions, historic lows for sacks in franchise history. And that's going a long way. Sacks since 1982 and interceptions since 1933. So they might set the record for fewest interceptions in a season. They're on a pace where they could do it. I think right now they're on pace to tie it. And for sacks, they're on pace just to surpass the 19 sacks they had, and I think in 89, I want to say. So I mean, that's the bad part. Some things they've done better. The red zone defense has been really good. Credit to them. Some things they've done worse. Rush defense has been pretty choppy. But the lack of splash is the biggest thing for me. If they were having that, I could live with this defense, considering the lack of talent and the youth of this team. But the splash is what keeps me up at night. Joey, yes, I will show the Burns interception. If I can remember where it's at. This is a fire zone. This is Butler sending 5. This is the pressure we wanted to see. We were clamoring for, saying, I know that you got to worry about some of the rookies, but let them do their job. Trust these guys. You're starting them. You should be blitzing. You shouldn't be changing your game plan then. But this is a fire zone, and I'll Burns able to jump this. And I did do a breakdown on Steelers Depot, type in film room, because this goes back to some of the film study Burns talked about. This is nice recognition, and I explained it much better in that post. It's not a video, but a post with a couple of GIFs in it than I do here. So I encourage you to check that out. But this is, I'm trying to think what this blitz was. I think this is his storm fire zone. I think it is. But basically, the close side safety, Mike Mitchell, going to come off the edge. It's a fire zone. They're going to rush 5. You're getting a slant down by Jarvis to draw the eyes to the left tackle. You get an influence here by Shazier. It's going to bring the safety in free. Mitchell's got to roll out. Timmons, or to it, excuse me, nice contain rush. Keeping a lid on things. Flacco throwing across his body. It's a poor decision, but it's influenced by pressure. Pressure makes quarterbacks do dumb things. And that's what works here. It's a great job, though, by Tua, because if Tua doesn't get that contained, Flacco's going to have the outlet. He's not getting pressure now. He's running away from Mitchell. But and Burns, nice recognition of what the concept's going to be. Step in front of it, get the interception. That's a big play. That's a splash you need. That's the first interception by a defensive back all season, but it came at a good time. So that's a nice design. That's good film study by Burns. It's well executed, and it worked. How about that? What a concept. So yeah, thank you, Joey. Let me know if you have problems with the stream. If the stream is being choppy, I'll continue to kind of mess with some of the video settings that I can, at least right now, mess with. Because I do have the YouTube thing saying that the video stream is a little laggy, and I kind of see some of that. So yeah, be sure to keep asking your questions. I see we have a new one. Let me just get out of my settings here for a second. Let's get back to the chat. Uh, what receiver do I think will step up this week? Well, they don't have a whole lot to choose from right now. Darius Hayward-Bay and Marcus Wheaton have been ruled out this week. If you have not heard, Hayward-Bay with his foot, Marcus Wheaton with that mysterious shoulder injury. So I think it's gonna have to be a lot of Sammy Coates and Eli Rogers, but those are the only guys left. So hopefully the Ladarius Green though can make an impact, because the Cowboys play a lot of cover two, and the way to attack cover two in one way is the vertical seam threat. You know, Rob Gronkowski, they did against Pittsburgh. So I think Ladarius Green is going to be the guy that I want to look at to step up. And yes, his snap count is going to be limited. I don't expect him to play 70 plays. He might get 25 to 30 snaps, but you know they're going to be in some situational football, some third down, some red zone stuff. Got to have it kind of play. So I think that's where Green's going to make his mark anyway. When he was brought in, that was the goal, and that's kind of the opportunity that he has. So want to get Ladarius Green involved, and you know, I know expectations have to be tempered a bit because he's missed so much time, but I'm just excited to see him out there. He's an athletic guy, and you know he's got to make an impact, and hopefully he can start this week. So that's the goal at least. We'll see if that works out or not. Um, do I feel the Steelers need better corners that can stick with the receivers so the defensive ends and linebackers can get the coverage sacks? No, I think they need better edge guys. I think they've invested in the corners. You know, they've invested heavily in Burns and Sean Davis. So you know, and Cockrell's been a nice find. They need to have edge guys. It all starts with pressure for them. It all starts with the front seven more than it does the secondary. So the edge guys are pretty weak right now. They're probably one of the worst groups of any positional unit, of any group. You know, tight ends, linemen, outside linebackers, whatever. This outside linebacker group is probably among the poorest of anyone across the board. So all starts with pressure, and they're not getting it. You know, Jarvis Jones, James Harrison, Arthur Moats, they're not bad players, but they're not near enough impact guys for what this defense is going to demand. And Chicolo is pretty blah to me right now, even though he is starting over Moats. And once Dupree comes back, Moats could really have no role in this defense because he's going to be kind of the odd man out. So they need better edge guys, though. They need that's what this offense has always been about. Better edge guys. Thanks, guys, for sticking around. Appreciate it. If you have any other questions, let me go click around on Facebook and stuff. Make sure there's no question coming in. Let me know if you have problems with your stream, if it is choppy. I keep bumping down my video settings to try to improve it. It was getting choppy last night. So I want to make sure that you guys are able to watch it because I hate bad audio and I hate choppy video. I'm a communications major and that stuff burns me up, and I hate to do that because it's just a pain to try to watch and follow. I feel like the stream is still having some choppy problems, but it started last night. I think I need to update my software actually because there was an update that I have not installed yet, and that might be part of the reason. So we'll definitely get that fixed for next time then. What happened to our run game? Oh man, that is well for this game. The Ravens' run defense is really strong, so I didn't really have much expectations for this run game to begin with. I didn't think they were going to run the ball for like more than 50 yards, and you know it's more than about what they did, probably maybe even a little bit less. Yeah, I mean, you could say part of it was Pouncey going down, but I'm not going to put it on just one guy. But that Pouncey was going to face a lot of Brandon Williams, their nose tackle, and Timmy Jernigan, their three tech, and when you go from Pouncey to Finney, it's a big drop. And Finney had some trouble with Williams, and I think a little bit of Jernigan, and even some Michael Pierce, their rotational big replacement, big one tech. So I just think in general they were not going to run the football because the Ravens have a top three run defense in the NFL. They're consistently great at it. They have a great interior defensive line. They're similar to the New York Jets, and the Steelers did not have a lot of success against the Jets either. And so it was not a surprise. Hopefully they have more success against the Cowboys, which are not as good. They're probably about a middle of the pack run defense. They do a nice job of not allowing a lot of touchdowns. They tighten up in the red zone. They've only allowed 3 rushing touchdowns all season long, which I think is tied for the best mark in the league with Kansas City. So they do a nice job of tightening things up with some of their red zone play. But the Ravens are just really tough, and it's always going to be like that. It's always been like that. Steelers don't have a whole lot of success. I think 2014 Bella had like 100 yards in one game, I think, but it's few and far between. But yeah, there's some individual breakdowns. Guys missing blocks. I can give you one example on that one third and four call that I know people didn't really like, and I didn't love, but it's a play that they should have gotten. I think this is it here. Yep, this is third and four, and yeah, I don't love the idea of the run call here, but the reason why Haley did it, or maybe Ben checked to it, is Ravens are in their amoeba defense. They have one defensive lineman. The rest of these guys are linebackers. Darius Smith is kind of a hybrid player. So you say, okay, let's run the football here. They're playing their dime defense. They only have one defensive lineman, one guy with their hand down. We can control the line of scrimmage. So I get that third and four. Steelers are in with David Johnson in. Kind of on a gap run with the Castro pulling. Going to kick out to Darius Smith, and now you're just getting kind of man blocks. Now you're thinking, all right, we should be able to get this with Le'Veon Bell third and four. But Ward does a nice job to shed Villanueva. Nice little move there. Now he's able to get in the hole where Bell wants to go. Line of defense. Finney's on the ground. Weddle does a nice job of filling. Play gets blown up. Steelers get stuffed on third and four, forced to punt the football. But that's a good design. I mean, it looks like it should be there, but there's a lot of individual issues, and the play goes down. So there's just one example of some individual issues that kind of faltered with the run game. So I think the Ravens just do a nice job, and the Steelers did not execute well. So whenever you have really good personnel of the defense, really good players, and you can't execute on your own, it's going to be a rough day. So that's what it was. It was a rough day. We'll probably go for about another 5 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know, and we will get to them. Any plays you want to look at, certainly will as well. Again, let me know if there's any issues with the stream or the audio. I think my audio is good this time. I've been playing with my settings a lot. I think the audio is good. But let me know if there are issues with the stream, because I keep getting that poor stream health, and I keep moving my bit rate down, but I don't know if it's doing a whole lot of any good right now. Let's see. I think I have a question here. Do you think we draft a left tackle high, given Villanueva's up and down performance? I was asked about this earlier today. I think if they have the opportunity for one, they would probably wouldn't hesitate. If they find someone, in the in like the first or second round that they really like. But I heard this offensive line class is really poor this year, so I wouldn't really count on that. I think they're content with Villanueva, but I think it's an area that you could upgrade. So it's not something that's at the top of my list. Outside linebacker is a mile above everybody else in terms of what the Steelers need, but it's not something I would, entirely discount if the situation was right. And remember, they explored left tackle pretty good this offseason. They were looking at Russell Okung and a couple other guys, so they weren't completely sold on Villanueva, and I don't think Villanueva is taking the steps that I thought he would. I think he's having a tough season. Not a terrible season. It's not been bad, but I think it's been not where I thought it would be, for a second year guy. Chad, I'll get to you in 1 second. Let me get to Joey because this is a quick answer. Does someone need to be cut in order for Green to be added to the active roster? Yes. Yes. Ladarius Green is on PUP. That does not count against the active 53-man roster. So for Green to go from PUP to the 53, someone else will have to get cut. He has not been added yet. I expect that move to come on Saturday. They're gonna wait it out so they can get their guys to practice all week long. So he has not been added, but he will have to be added, and yes, someone will have to be cut. Who that is, not 100% sure right now. Um, Maybe an LJ Fort, maybe an Xavier Grimble, maybe a Brian Mahalik. Those are kind of the three guys I'm looking at right now. It's not going to be Kobe Hamilton this week, of course, with all the injuries at receiver. Maybe someone goes on IR, but I don't think that's likely. I think they're going to hold off on D-Well. I don't think DHB is serious enough for him to go on IR yet. Maybe Wheaton. Maybe they just shut Wheaton down and wipe their hands clean and say, you're gonna be free agent anyway. I don't want to deal with you anymore. So I think if anyone goes on IR, um, it's gonna be Marcus Wheaton. But I think maybe they release like LJ Ford for a week or something. But we will see. But he will have to be added. Chad says, do I think the Seals will keep Landry Jones or let him go before next season? I feel like they kept him so long to try to save face. Uh, it's just who you're gonna get. Are you gonna reinvest in the draft and get a third or fourth round pick and then have to have him learn the system again? Maybe, but that doesn't seem ideal. Do you get a veteran quarterback in for agency? Well, I'm not opposed to that, but who are you gonna go out and get? Is it gonna be another Bruce Gradkowski situation? I mean, Jones has panned out more than Gradkowski panned out. So I think if they can get him cheap, as long as I don't think Jones is going to have a whole lot of a market, even in the quarterback starved league that we're in right now. Um, I think that no, I think that they will make a run to keep Landry Jones. I think he's played relatively well in the action he's had. I know I'm kind of in the minority on that, but I think that they will make an attempt to keep Landry Jones. Yeah, because I think they have enough trust in him to be the backup. Do I feel like they cut Troy too early? No, he was pretty slowed down. That last year he was basically an in the box defender only. He was, for a guy like Troy, usually the great ones that are great forever, they fall off of a cliff pretty quick, especially guys that are reckless the way he plays. So no, I think they cut Troy at the appropriate time. It was painful, and there seemed to be a falling out there, which was not ideal. I think Troy thought he could have kept playing, and Steelers just disagreed. But Troy was getting pretty rough at the end, so I think they were fine with that. No, I don't. Landry Jones is not the heir to Ben. There's no doubt about it. But how are you going to get the heir to Ben? I mean, the only way to get the heir to Ben Roethlisberger is to draft a quarterback probably really high within like the top 2, maybe 3 rounds. And I don't think they're going to do that this year because they want to win a Super Bowl. They're invested to win the Super Bowl, and to spend one on a developmental pick, which may or may not work out, isn't the way to go right now. So I think it's going to be status quo where they're going to wait to focus on the air later, a couple of years from now, and they want to find the backup right now. Who's going to be the backup for Ben in case of an injury? And I think Lance Jones honestly might be your best bet right now. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but I don't know who else you'd want to go with, in the draft or wherever. So I think it's going to be. I think they're going to, unless Jones wants to leave, he wants to try to carve a new path, knowing that he's always going to be the second stringer to Ben. I think they're going to at least make an effort to keep Landry Jones around. Mettenberger, no. Mettenberger is not the heir. Mettenberger is 0-10 in his career. If he was the heir to anyone, I think he would have had some sort of sign by now. So, no, Mettenberger is not the heir. Landry Jones, the heir to Ben is not on this roster right now. The heir to Ben might still be a senior year of high school right now. We're still probably a little ways away. Chad, how many years do I think Ben has at a high quality? That's always tough to say. I don't know, 3 maybe. Was he 33 right now? Maybe uh maybe through the 2018 season. So this year, next year in 2018, then you might kind of be getting. I think that's maybe when you start talking about it. Maybe you start talking about it at the end of next season and in 2017. Can we you do something there? It's always hard to say. An injury could happen and it could change the plan, or a lack of injury could change the plan as well. If he stays healthy throughout, then maybe. But he's had a lot of knee problems, and I'm sure that's going to start feeling kind of creaky as he gets up there, and all the scar tissue I'm sure that he has, and he's going to start feeling it more and more. I think that's why he keeps dropping weight and trying to keep some of that pressure off his joints. But yeah, I think maybe 2000. I mean, it's just a guess. Who knows? But he's not going to be Tom Brady. He's not going to be playing when he's 39. I think by the end of 2018, that's going to be the end of the prime Ben. I think if I had to guess. I'm just gonna mess around with our video settings here real quick because I keep getting like the stream is bad. I don't know how to fix that. I don't know if I need to turn my frames per second down. Turning my bit rate like all the way down. A couple more questions in, and then we'll get out of here, and I will try to get the stream a little bit better for next time. Um, Actually, it might be better now that I've really dropped the bit rate down quite a bit. Still a little choppy though. It says I keep getting that video output low. But I'll figure that out for next time. That's not important for you guys to know. So a couple more questions. If you have one, we'll go another 2 or 3 minutes, and then I think we'll get out of here. But be sure to join us every Friday, 3 p.m. for this chat. Appreciate you guys, Joey and Chad, and Dylan was in here earlier. We'll take another one question or two though. But be sure for our mailbag. We have our mailbag every Thursday at 2:30. Excuse me. Be sure to like our Facebook page. We do some Q&A as well. I don't have a great date and time. That'd be kind of random pop-up things, but like our Facebook page, Steelers Depot, and you can get some kind of exclusive Q&As and some exclusive stuff. And the first to see some of the videos that I do during the week, I usually post those to Facebook before I post those to the site. So you can get some kind of first look and exclusive content at our Facebook page, Steelers Depot. Joey, if D-Roll does go on IR, do you think Carlos Williams can come in and make a splash alongside Bell? Well, I mean they've gone with 2 backs so far, so do they care enough about having a third back on? And is Carlos Williams going to be the guy, or is it Daryl Richardson? I think a lot has to do is Carlos Williams in good football shape, and I think he's probably getting there, but he might not be there yet. And how much is he going to play if Dewell's out of the picture? Bell's still going to be your workhorse and your guy playing 95% of the snaps. So, and Toussaint's your third down guy. So there might be a role. I mean, I'm intrigued by Carlos Williams. Of course, he had a great rookie season. He ran all over everybody. But I think his impact would be limited. And I'll say it again. I think you're going to look for Carlos Williams more next year than you are this season. Chad, I felt 37 would be it for him, but he breaks records every year. Yeah, like I said, it's impossible to know, but I just can't see him playing to 39. I mean, he's not Brady, he's not Manning. Manning fell off crazy at the end, so Ben's style of play is going to eventually catch up to him. And like I said, with those guys, he's a little Troy-like. Once the fall starts, I don't think it's going to be graceful. I think it's going to be pretty heavy and kind of immediate, because you just start to break down. Your body does, and Ben's got a little bit of a gunslinger mentality sometimes, and that's going to probably get him into trouble if his body starts to go and his mind trying to do things his body can't cash in on anymore. But that's all speculation. I don't like talking about the demise of Big Ben. We'll see. We'll see what he can do. But I think he's got a couple more years in him. So that's why I'm not banging on the table to draft the heir this season. I wouldn't draft the heir this season. I think it'd be foolish to do. It is a tough call. I mean, again, we're speculating on a guy's career. We have no idea how it can go, but that's my thought at least. I don't think a lot about it, but that's my thought. How much score projection? All right, last two I'll get to. Score projection for this week. I picked I picked Dallas, or I'm sorry, I picked Pittsburgh the other day over Dallas. But it's gonna be close, and I'm really just picking Pittsburgh because they're at home and they're such a different team at home. So I didn't do a score with it. I might say 33 to 24 Pittsburgh win, something like that. But I know Dallas is super tough. They're a really good team, and it's going to be tough to think about. How this team's going to beat Dallas because they are really well coached and they have a great identity to them. They run the football extremely well, and they have an athletic defense that does do a nice job of creating some plays. So, yeah, I pick Pittsburgh. I'm trying to be a little optimistic here, and they certainly need it. But just playing at home, I think it's going to help them a lot. They're just a different team at home. Last question, Chad. How much do you love the Steelers throwing long bombs on third and short? Yeah, I get it can be frustrating, but sometimes it's because it's the best option because nothing else is there. And the one they had the Coats on, I think third and something, third and four, the other against Baltimore. That's the best matchup they had. They had 1-on-1. Everyone else was pretty well covered. Try to make a big play, and it was almost a completion. Coats just missed the football. So I get it. It can be frustrating sometimes, but they've hit those plays several times the last two seasons, throwing long on third and short, and it's worked. And everyone cheers then, and when it's incomplete, everyone boos. So I don't know. I think you take the good with the bad in that situation because the good can be really good and really kind of a dagger for defenses. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys sticking around. Joey, Chad. I know Dylan was here earlier. Um, I think that was the main three guys that were sticking around. So certainly do appreciate it. Be sure to come back here next Friday at 3 p.m. Tell your friends. More people that are in here, the more fun and the more active this gets. I think the better it is. But you can watch the archive of this up on Steelers Depot if you want to go back and rewatch it. And yeah, thanks you guys for watching. And we will talk to you in a week.